Chester, with Chester makes Chester, and we're going far. Coming together and using our voice to let you know change is a choice. It's a Chester flow. Can't buy, can't rent it. If you're rocking with your city, stand up, represent it. Chester flow.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. We are here in the Visions Video Production Studio, and our guest today is my sister Marsha Benton. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you, beautiful?
I am blessed and highly favored.
No, that's right.
We are here to talk about your book, Soul Ties. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a licensed minister. I have been in ministry for a number of years. I work for State Farm Insurance, as do you. Yes. I also have a bachelor's degree in organizational dynamics. I've done a lot of conference coordinating and new church startup and administration and things of that nature. Okay. And I'm also a public speaker.
Public speaker, author, you got it going on, girl. So let us talk about this book.
Yes.
So this book is filled with a lot of information and a lot of instructions. So I'm just gonna throw out some things, and I just want you to share with the people some of the information that comes with this book. So yes. On page 11, it talks about soul ties, drugs, and super glue. Talk to us about that.
Dopamine. Dopamine is that feel good chemical that is released when you have an emotion or reaction to something that you're eating, something that you're doing, or something that has been done to you. Now, when that dopamine is released, it gives you a feeling that actually sits in your subconsciousness, okay? And it'll come up. It'll keep coming up. At certain times, at different times, you don't even know what the triggers are. But it'll keep coming up, and it'll cause you to react or go seek or do other things.
Respond in some way.
Yes, in some way, even though you may not want to.
It's a driving force.
Yes, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
It's like if you know you like Burger King like I do, and you see that commercial, and it will make you get up.
Yes, out of your bed.
Out of your bed. Put your clothes back on.
Yes.
Is that driving force? So that's what be producing. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to have to say, dopamine, be quiet. Dopamine, shut up.
Yes. Get it under subjection. So it will control you.
And that's what a lot of people probably don't make the connections with.
Right.
That if it's controlling you, there's something more there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just to relate the two, because you think, okay, you would, until I read the book, I never put the two together. Okay, an addiction and soul ties. I know that, soul ties make you do some crazy stuff.
Right.
But I never compared it with addiction.
Right.
Because addiction will force you to do things you don't want to do.
Yes.
And it's wrong.
Yes.
So to put it on that level is a whole nother eye opener of the strength of a soul tie.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So actually, you also talk about healthy and unhealthy soul ties.
Yes.
Those things that, okay, what's wrong with that? But then if you look a little bit deeper, it's a lot wrong with that. So talk to us about that.
Healthy soul ties are those that we have with anyone. It can be a lover. It can be your sisters and brothers, your friends. God put them there so that we can have a bond. We are relational. We are made in his likeness and his image. God wanted us, he sent Jesus actually just so he can have a relationship with us. So relationships are important. You have to be able to feel. You should be able to feel. You should be able to bond with your sisters, brothers, or whomever, But when there is a tie, a soul tie that is unhealthy, it begins to actually manifest unfavorable things. You can see it if you remember girlfriends who've had love-hate relationships. Not that they were involved sexually, but they kept coming back to each other, but they knew they weren't good for each other. You saw it happen. You was like, okay, they're back friends. And then all of a sudden they blowing up again and they're back friends again. And they were in this cycle for years.
Right.
For years. And they don't realize it, but it's an unhealthy soul tie.
And they just don't recognize it.
They don't
We're just going
recognize
through
it.
the motions.
Yep.
This
is what we do. That's what we say. This is what we're like that. Oh, she just like that. Oh, this is what we do. And then we fall off, and then we get back together.
Something's wrong with that picture.
Something's wrong with that. Yeah, if it's not being productive, it's toxic.
That's a good point, because that's something you like. Okay, you need to look for just being able to move forward, being happy. Because if you're breaking up the makeup and makeup the breakup, is that you're not happy.
You're not happy. You're not happy.
So, and you also talked about the unhealthy soul ties between a mother and a son, a father and a daughter, where if a spouse or if a significant other is missing, they try to put them in that shoe. So the son becomes the husband, or the dad is over nurturing. So talk to us about that.
Yes. That soul tie really hides. And I talk about the soul tie being able to hide because so many other things manifest. And we deal with the symptoms, but not the root. The root cause of that soul tie, and that's why I talked about that one, because I actually prayed and asked the Holy Spirit, I was like, okay, you're going to have to help me with this and let me know exactly what to write. And when he began to talk to me about that soul tie, he said, that one I really need you to talk about, because it is so common nowadays that people don't even realize it, because it's mom and son. Okay? Dad walks away or whatever. The relationship doesn't last. Mom may have wanted the relationship to last, and even if she didn't. Now, the son, she puts him in that place and holds him responsible for her happiness. Everything that he does for her, she controls. Things that he may want to do for himself, she controls. And she'll actually say, oh, I want you to find somebody good. I want you to get a good wife. And she'll actually pray for him to get a good wife. But what she really means is, I need someone who will allow me to control them as well, as long as she's with you. Otherwise, she don't like him. I don't like her. Watch, I don't like her. Why don't you like her? Is it because you can't control her as you do the son? And now that she's there and she's bringing balance, because a woman will bring balance to a man's life, and that she's bringing balance now, is that stepping into your territory?
Soul ties gets deep, but we're going to take a break, and we will be right back right after this.
Hi, I must be Karma. I'm Principal Williams. First day jitters? Here in East Side, I'm gonna make sure you guys. I just need you to look out for her.
What's wrong with her?
Nothing. Being as though you're the leader of the school and everyone looks up to you, I just think she needs a friend to help her get adjusted.
Mom, I fucking hate it here. I don't want to stay. Give me my baby, man. I'm fucking keeping my baby.
No, you're not. You're not keeping it. If you tell anybody what you saw in here today, I'll fucking kill you. You understand? You understand me? Yes! You're new here, right?
Yeah.
I'm Jay.
You like what you see, don't you?
Oh my God, you scared me.
Excuse me? Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with y'all drama. Keep me out of this.
I said, do you have a problem?
Sometimes one person can love harder than the other. Sometimes one will do more for the other. And it hurts. It hurts when your emotions get toyed with.
Stop. But you know, you might happen to be the father.
You may want to hurt them in a different way. Like killing them.
Welcome back. We are here in the studios with my sister Marsha Benton, who is the author of Soul Tides, More Than You Imagine. Now, we've talked about some good stuff, and there's still more good stuff in this book. We can't wrap it all up into these few minutes, but we are going to give you some nuggets. So in your book, it talks about stress being the silent killer. Talk to us about that.
I did a chapter on stress because soul ties bring on negative emotion, and it also brings on negative self-talk and negative thought, and we don't realize how much that affects us, to the point of sickness in your body, disease in your body, cancers in your body. So many people are walking around with stress that do not realize that it is stress. For the soul tie, it's now, okay, I really want a relationship. We broke up. I have negative feelings, hatred towards the other person because they left me. Another one is actually with death, that people don't realize the stress of death. And in our community, the black community, too many of our black men have left here, and their parents weren't ready for them to go, nor their children. You don't realize that a lot of times that creates a soul tie because you weren't ready for them to go. I actually had to deal with that one with my mom a few years ago, and just this Christmas, I had to come to the reality that I wasn't ready to let her go, even though she was ready to go. I didn't want her to suffer, but I had to take myself through the breaking of that tie again, you know? So it causes stress because it causes negative emotions. You can get sad, you can get angry, you know, you can get upset. Then it causes you to eat or not to eat, to sleep or not to sleep. Triggers.
Yeah, you actually, let me see, we actually talked about skin breakouts, hair loss, weight gain, weight loss, stomach, bowel issues. So you got a nice little list of things that it can affect physically.
Yes. That you don't link it to a soul tie.
That's true. You wouldn't think about it too much until it's pointed out or God reveals it to you.
Yes. Yes. And that's why I wrote the book, and I didn't want it to be a long book because I wanted it to be, you'll be able to just hit it and quit it, because people are busy.
Right.
You know, a lot of people don't want to read hundreds of pages. Not now. You know, okay, yeah, Lord, make it less than 50, power packed and impactful.
Right. Yeah. So also, this one really, you know, made me think, because when we are in a relationship, we make a lot of promises and we say we're going to do a lot of stuff. But when that relationship's over, we don't say anything about what we previously said. And you said renounce the vows. So, for example, you say, I will love you forever. You have to renounce it. Or I can never be with another person. You have to renounce those things. So talk to us about that verbal. You said you have to say it.
Yes, yes. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Words are powerful. You know, the tongue is sharper than a two-edged sword. And we take them lightly until you really dig into what does this actually mean. You know, one word from someone can make or break you.
Break you right down.
Break you right
Or
down.
build you up.
Yes, or build you up or turn your life around. So that's why those vows, because those words do have power, and things that have been spoken over you, things that you speak over yourself, you need to renounce them. It is important because they hold a tie in place. They're bondage, you know, to you, and it will affect you even though you may not know it or feel it or think it, but they do affect you. You need to renounce. I will love you forever. I could never love another woman, or I could never love another man. Stop it. And it's 5 relationships later, and you say that every time, you know. You have to renounce those things so that you can be free and your creativity can come through and you can be your authentic self. Because when soul ties are in place and in operation, and if they've been there for so long, you're not your authentic self, because there are roadblocks. Even though you're functioning, even though you're progressing in other areas, to be totally uncut you, renounce that soul tie. Break those soul ties and watch what comes forth. Because they are holding some things back in your life and you don't even realize it. That's the reason why a lot of people are single, men and women, but you desire to be married. Ask Holy Spirit, do I have a soul tie that's in place that's going to trigger me to go off on this person? That's why God is not allowing them to come in my life. That maybe that's why they're not stepping up to the plate, because of a soul tie. And you would be surprised. Be surprised, because there are over 30 soul ties, but most of the time we only talk about that one, or they preach to us about that one. You know, it's a number of them.
Well, you did a good job with touching on multiple areas that we didn't even think about. Things you need to do when a relationship is over. Denounce, get rid of some stuff, get rid of some things that would trigger you or cause you to remember or reflect. Because after time can heal, but you got to cut that cord. That soul tie got to be broken.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to share this book with our audience. And if somebody wanted to get a copy, I know you gave your information earlier, but we're going to end the show with your information, and we're going to let you get on out of here.
You can get my book at Barnes & Noble or Amazon.com, both of those places, or you can inbox me, and I will see to it that you get the information that you need for the book, or to contact me with your questions. I'm more than happy to answer them, because I want all of us to be free, to be our authentic self.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. And thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Take me back to where we were before. Summer 2012 was the best I ever known. 'Cause one of those days you came my way, made it hard to stay away. I felt the chemistry on it. Was it written on my face when you gave me a time and place and took me on the perfect date? Oh, oh. Look at how far we've come, far we've come, how far we've come, far we've come, and how far we've come, far we've come, how far we've come, far we've come. Yeah, we were really cute back then, but let's get to the truth. Back when it wasn't always easy, you did your best just to please me. And even when I gave you a hard time and couldn't tell you what was on my mind, oh, you were persistent. Be sure I knew what I'd be missing. How far we've come, far we've come, how far we've come, far we've come, and how far we've come, far we've come, how far we've come. player haters will do what they will, but here we are still. The naysayers, heartbreakers, debaters, and player haters will do what they will, but here we are still. Look at how far we've come, far we've come, how far